Hello, friends. Welcome to Prophetic Worldview. I'm Benjamin Faircloth. I'm so glad that you be with me today. It is Thursday, June 27th, 2024. I'm coming to you just a day earlier than I normally schedule my podcast on Friday. I have an urgent message that I need to relay to you, especially in this atmosphere of the debates and the circus that's going to take place tonight, which I think is going to be definitely some popcorn entertainment, to say the least, but it's also going to be a night full of deceit. And I want to share with you the prophetic word going back to 2012 when the Lord spoke to me that when Israel strikes Iran, that he will shut off the financial valve to America. There was no doubt in my mind that would take place, and we know that in history it took place April 19th, 2024, a historical moment, even though it was a measured response by Israel. Nonetheless, it was historic. The question was, would it be a fast turn off of the valve or a slow turning off of the valve of the financial flow to America? And obviously, it has been a slow valve turn off. And we're watching it right before our very eyes. And I want to bring that back to our remembrance because it's imperative that we understand the hour that we're living in. Though we live by faith and walk by faith, we also have to be alert and put our heads on a swivel and be discerning, especially in this hour when so many people are going to be deceived. You have friends and family and church members and people around you that are just going to buy into the whole Kool-Aid, the whole circus that's going to take place tonight, and that's already being fed to us through the Federal Reserve, and on it goes. And so these types of prophetic realities help shape the narrative of truth. In other words, they bring us to a firm foundation of the reality of what's really happening. And so I want you to share this link and share this information that I'm going to give to you because it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming what's taking place. So I want to begin by saying that, bringing us back to that prophetic word and then the reality of it happening April 19th, 2024, and then watching this slow turn off of the valve of the finances to America. There is no doubt that we are in a financial crisis. There's no doubt that this thing is going to implode. There's no doubt that we cannot continue on this road. There's no doubt that we cannot continue in our debaucheries, our sin, our lasciviousness, our paganism, and everything else that we're doing, from child sex trafficking to cannibalism to human organ harvesting, on and on and on it goes. And we've committed high treason against an almighty God, and we've broken our covenant with him. And so God will no longer wink at our sin. And one of the things that he does is he will break the staff of bread over a nation, a staff of bread. In other words, he will cause the plenty, he'll cause the supply of our food, of our money, of our resources to dry up in order for us to recognize and realize that we have fallen short of his glory, and we've fallen short of his righteousness, and in hopes that many would call upon his name and come back to him. So we're in that hour, and I wanted to share that with you concerning this particular shutting off the valve. Let me just give a few headlines, just a few bullet points, data points for us to look at. The BRICS nations. Look what's happening with the BRICS nations. I mean, it's absolutely growing and growing and growing. They're getting very close to an agreeing on a particular currency. Operation Sandman that was brought to us by Steve Quayle, stevequayle.com. That's taking shape right now. We've seen the decoupling of the petrodollar, no longer that currency being used. The American dollar in oil trading with the Saudis, a 50-year history broken right there, bam, just like that. We haven't seen yet the total ramifications of that, but it's coming. Again, that's part of shutting off that valve. David Wilkerson's vision of watching Germany begin to crash, and then Japan, and then it comes around to the United States within a 2-week period. And let me bring this article to your attention. Again, this is stevequayle.com. You can go there and get all this information. The yen, the Japanese money, the yen, falls to a 37-year low of 160 against the U.S. dollar. Again, you can go to this article, but it says the Japanese yen fell below 160 against the U.S. dollar on Wednesday, its lowest point in more than 37 years, as Tokyo scrambled to determine what appropriate intervention measures to take. The record fall of the yen follows Japanese and South Korean national forecasters expressing alarm on Tuesday after the depreciation of their currencies. The United States has placed Japan on the watch list of currency manipulators last week. Like I said, you can go to stevequayle.com and get the full understanding of that particular article. But here you go. These are signs, these are cracks, these are evidence of this particular vision by David Wilkerson. And again, the prophetic word of shutting off that financial valve, and it's happening right before our very eyes. And how anybody can just sit back and say, well, that's just chance, and that's just a coincidence, is absolutely not being honest with yourself, and you're denying the reality. So go check that out and read some more about that particular article. And I got another article that I want to read to you. Again, this is off of stevequayle.com, and it's our good friend Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog, and I'll give you the link to that. But you can go to stevequayle.com and get that article there. And I want to read this to you. The reason why I'm reading it, first of all, Michael has a tremendous research ability. He pulls things out that I don't think any other writer that I'm aware of can do in such a clear, concise way. And I really appreciate Brother Michael. Need to have him back here on the program. But this is an article called 11 Signs. And this is what really hit me when I saw this. And I just said, yes, Lord, I need to share this and remind people. Again, there's many of you guys that are watching this. You're fully aware. You're on top of this thing. But it's a good reminder of the prophetic word being mixed in with the reality on the ground, and then taking that and going, okay, I'm one step closer to this reality. We're one step closer to prophetic fulfillment. I've got another day to prepare. I need to hustle, if you will, behind that muscle and get things moving, because it looks ominous. The clouds are coming in. It's getting real stormy. Okay, so that's why we do these things. That's why we put out these podcasts. It's not to make anybody fearful, and it's not to be repetitive. It is to be encouraging, but it's also to bring an awareness. Watch this. 11 signs that the U.S. economy is in far worse shape than most people think. Listen to this. I'm going to give you these 11 real quick. Just like in 2008, delinquencies are on the rise. In fact, credit card delinquencies have now reached the highest level we have seen in more than 10 years. I mean, people are sliding their cards. And you know what? It's not just those that are, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just those that are gluttons. There's people just trying to buy groceries. There's people trying to pay their bills, and the only way they can do it is stretch it out with credit and use that power of credit in order to make it. And I understand that. Now, there's other people that just buy stuff you don't need, and those people, I don't know what to say. You need to get a hold of yourself and find some prudence and learn how to be a Proverbs type of believer. But those that are just trying to make it, I get it. I understand. Number 2, the commercial real estate crisis just continues to escalate. An article that originally appeared in the New York Times claims that major Wall Street banks have begun offloading. I mean, listen, real estate was hot cakes, hot pancakes. I mean, everybody was getting involved in real estate. I mean, everywhere you looked, there was an infomercial on social media, to be a landlord or to own commercial property or what have you. But you have banks that are offloading their portfolios of commercial real estate loans, hoping to cut their losses. I've heard Gerald Celente say that there's people that actually just have given away commercial property because they just can't afford it, and there's no buyers, and it's better to get that off of your back than to deal with all that. That's just absolute insanity. Again, you can go to the article, and he'll give you more detail. I'm just giving you surface information for the sake of time. Oh, absolutely amazing. What I give you, number 3 is when banks get into trouble, they start shutting down branches. So far this year, U.S. banks have closed more than 400 branches all over the country. That's a lot of banks. If 400 churches closed down, you would notice it. 400 schools or 400 other places, institutions, you'd notice it. That's a lot. 400 banks across the country. Number 4, remember, keep all this in mind when you're watching the debates and your family's watching the debates. And I know you're going to hear how everything's just so peachy keen and wonderful. And throw this link to them and say, why don't you watch this video or go to these websites and find the real information, because these are articles. This is data points. This is truth. This is not a teleprompt speech. This is not prepared propaganda. These are facts. And I don't know about you. I want to live by facts because I want to live by truth. Number 4, big companies are laying off workers from coast to coast. For example, approximately 500 Texas truckers. Now, let me tell you something. When truckers are in trouble, you're in trouble. Let me try that one more time. When truckers are in trouble, the nation is in trouble. You're in trouble because we move by truck and we move by rail. We live by truck and we live by rail. You better believe that. 500 Texas truckers just lost their jobs when a large logistics company abruptly, hear the word, abruptly shut down their doors for good. Number 5, the Dallas Fed Services Index has now been in negative territory for 25 months in a row. That is an indicator. That is not a good indicator. Number 6, the restaurant apocalypse just continues to intensify. This week we learned that Hooters, I ain't got no problem with that, you can shut them down, has suddenly decided to permanently shut down close to 40 underperforming locations. And that's not just Hooters. There are so many other places that are shutting down. Can't afford it. Look at Red Lobster. They blamed it on their all-you-can-eat shrimp. It's the economy, stupid. It's the economy. People cannot afford to live such a way. Retail chains. Number 7, retail chains continue to go belly up in a staggering rate. Today it was being reported that 2 large retailers in the Northeast have made a decision to file for bankruptcy. These are 2 sister chains that sell sporting goods. Bob's Stores and Eastern Mountain Sports. Never heard of them. But they have 50 stores across the Northeast of America. Number 8, we've just learned that consumer confidence in the U.S. has dropped lower this month. You think? Wow. Number 9, the initial consumer confidence reading has been revised down in 7 of the last 8 months. Number 10, housing in the U.S. is now more unaffordable than it has ever been before. Just right here in our location, in Livonia, Georgia, it is hard to find a place to live. It's either skyrocket high or it's a shack. Either one. There's no in between. It's absolutely crazy if you can even find a place. We have a brand new apartment complex, but they're so expensive. It's just nowhere. And then you have, there's nowhere to put all these people. And then you have all these illegals, an invasion. You know, where are you going to house all these Chinese troops? Number 11, as I discussed yesterday, this is talking about Brother Snyder, the homeless population in the city of Chicago tripled from January 2023 to January 2024. So what's a year, it has tripled. And we know a lot of those problems is because of immigration. Those at the bottom of the economic food chain are being hit the hardest by the harsh economic conditions that we have been experiencing. Homelessness, poverty, hunger, and theft are all on the rise. And many of those that serve struggling communities say that they are being absolutely overwhelmed because they simply do not have sufficient resources to meet all of the needs. Sadly, I am entirely convinced that this is just the beginning. I believe the conditions will eventually become much harsher as the economy continues to deteriorate, shut off the valve during the months ahead. But Joe Biden and his minions insist that everything is just great. Okie dokie. In fact, they would like you to believe that the economy is booming right now. Yeah, it's booming for certain people. And you can believe that if you want. But the cold, hard numbers that we keep getting directly contradict the endless stream of propaganda that we are constantly being fed. Way to go, Brother Michael Snyder. Go to his website, check it out. Again, you could go to stevequayle.com or the Economic Collapse blog and check that out. Check out all these articles. Okay, so let me surmise this, put this all together, package it together. What are we watching? We're watching the collapse of the American empire. We're watching the financial destruction of our nation, I believe, intentionally. Sad to say, but intentionally. I also believe it's part of the judgment of God, and the financial valve is being shut off to America. It's happening slowly, but yet it's happening quickly. It's happening in real time. And you know what? It's happening in my lifetime, in your lifetime. It's happening right now. So let me encourage you to prepare. So how do I prepare? First of all, you prepare by faith. You get your house in order with God, and you ask the Holy Spirit, Lord, how do I shut doors? How do I manage, and how do I guide my life through these landmines that are before us? Life is going to change for America like we've never experienced before. The Great Depression cannot compare. The Dust Bowl, all these different memories that are in our minds of what the world has gone through cannot compare to what the book of Revelation says is coming upon this earth. So there's only one way to prepare. You go to the one who wrote the book. You go to the one who wrote the narrative. You go to the one who knows the truth. And when you get that truth will set you free, and that truth will keep you free. Remember, we do everything by faith, nothing by fear. We do everything by planning and nothing by panic. Let's get ready. Let's get ready. God has a great plan for us, and he's going to see us through in Jesus' name. Let me remind you, you don't have any troubles. All you need is faith in God. I love you guys. I'll see you Sunday at Ignited Church. Be blessed.